It's been a lot to take in. I think last week took a lot of people by surprise with the twerking video.
It was a lot to take in, wasn't it?
That's for sure. I honestly, genuinely had to go to her page to make sure it had originated there because I thought it was a parody. But no, it was real.
Why is she doing this? Why is she... That twerking video, for instance, and the Disneyland video, I mean, these have gone viral. Why is she doing this,
Well,
Bronte?
I'm trying... to separate the two thoughts, I feel, we're discussing it in the context of royals and royal family. But now I suppose we need to discuss it in terms of entertainment. She's someone who is now working as an influencer. The direct marketing campaign is to your Instagram audience. In that respect, I think she's got something like 42 million views on this video, which I think all of us were among them. But everyone I've ever spoken to seems to have been among them. In that regard, yes, there are eyes on her page. There are people watching what she's doing. That directly relates, I would assume, to the sales that she's having and eyes that are on her Netflix show and, that are going to her website as ever. In that regard, again, look, personally, it was obviously very difficult to watch. It was quite cringeworthy. In that regard, I think, OK, you are generating headlines. That is the aim of people in this space. But then when you compare it to, how we would react, with the working royals putting out that kind of content, I think it's apples and oranges because, of course, looking at it through that filter, you think, what are you doing? This is not appropriate.
You're saying you don't think we're going to see William and Kate release a video of when she was in the Labour ward with Louis?
Wouldn't that be a day? But that's it. It's not. They're not the same. I think I'm looking at it and I'm judging it through that filter of the royal family because of course they still have their royal titles. This is the whole mess of it. Yeah. But I'm also saying she's an influencer and she's trying to get eyes on a page and it's working.
So Chris, if you could imagine sitting down in Montecito and you were there at a meeting with all Meghan and Harry's staff, they would look at, if you're saying 42 million views on this twerking video, they would look at that as a success. I mean, is she actually a shrewd operator?
It doesn't matter what people are saying about the video, and of course some people loved it, other people absolutely hated it, but people are talking about them. And you're right to say last year perhaps it was quiet on many front pages of your newspaper because they were doing all the planning for this year. This year could, they did say after Harry's book, and let's see if it ever happens, this was him closing the chapter on looking back all the time. We're now going to look forward on our business. Meghan's business, she doesn't care what people in the UK think about her twerking video in a Labour ward 4 years ago. She cares about eyeballs, relevance, whether that translates into her business empire as it's becoming as ever. Your paper ran a story the other day, of course, about now she's trademarked hospitality for her as ever brand. Does that mean Meghan's going to do hotels and restaurants and cafes or a Soho farmhouse somewhere in California? She sees potential in her brand, and Instagram is the vehicle to get her that business and that custom, and it's all about the United States. It's not about here.
And relevance is currency.
It's all about that. Yeah, she wants to be the second Gwyneth Paltrow, trying to sort of exploit it all. I mean, I couldn't care if I never saw another thing about Meghan, but our paper runs a lot of it, and she's hugely successful because she's getting the looks and the takes and probably people buying the jam and she's doing very well. And it seems Harry's doing nothing though, you don't see him doing anything. Just it's Meghan, and the twerking, my God, I thought that was awful. Absolutely awful. I really did. I thought she's...
What do you think about the Disneyland photos? She took the children to Disneyland, and there's a suggestion this is similar to when Diana took, but they weren't the pictures they took. They were taken by photographers who were tipped off that they were going to Thorpe Park or
Disney. I went to Disneyland with Diana and the kids. Yeah, we got great pictures that day. Yeah, I'll never forget. Yeah, but look, I don't know why we can't see the children's faces. I think she's obviously got some sort of scheme there where I don't know, maybe she wants to monetize on one day. I don't know, but those children, I feel sorry for them really. I mean, they've got cousins here. They're never going to meet. Never going to play with. There's palaces here and castles here that they could enjoy as well and spend summer holidays with their cousins. I feel really sorry for them kids cooped up in that place and will we ever see their faces? I don't know. Maybe one day she'll produce a calendar or something of her children's faces, and that'll be sort of another Meghan speciality.
I think they've got plenty of room there. I mean, I have a view when it comes to if you want to put your kids on social media, that's absolutely fine. You're taking that responsibility as a parent. You've also got every right to keep them private and not put them on. I just don't really like this kind of, here's a picture of my kid, I'm going to put a big emoji over the kid's face you can't see because that's me protecting their privacy. I'd rather sort of not see them at all if you want to protect them, rather than show them the corner of their ear in a photo.
That's always the part I find odd, because I completely agree with you where it's a parent's prerogative, whichever way you want to go, social media. Every parent faces it at some point. We all have social media. But yes, I don't understand. In that Disneyland video, there's a front-on picture of them that she's put emojis on their faces, and that part I don't understand. That you don't need to include that. That's an option that's available to you, is to not put it in there at all. It just feels, I'm going to say, it feels a little bit obnoxious when you do put it up there and then you're hiding their faces. You don't need to put them on there. I think a lot of people would respect that decision if that's the one they took.
100%.
Well, we have seen their faces before. I mean, unfortunately, I was re-watching the Meghan and Harry 6-part documentary recently for other reasons, and you see their faces in there, and we have seen their faces lots and lots of times on lots of other pictures and lots of other videos. Why would you obscure the video now? That Arthur raised this idea of they could monetize their children in many ways, and this is completely different to what happens in the royal family. I mean, the Cambridges or the Waleses, would kind of often use their children on their birthdays, on certain events, or to kind of welcome them into the royal family, to kind of introduce them to Trooping the Colour. They will do kind of background videos of Platinum Jubilee. It's completely different. Why are they putting their children on Instagram?
If you ever read those press releases from Republic, the pressure group, they always say that when William and Kate put pictures of their children out for their birthdays, and these days they used to be taken by photographers like Arthur, but now they're taken by their own chosen private photographers. But, you know, the pressure group says this is them using their kids for propaganda to keep the monarchy alive. So, you know, again, they are in the line of succession, and therefore we, I think, expect to see them. But can you imagine when Arthur went, to photograph Princess Diana with the kids on that roller coaster, and the pictures you saw next day had a big sort of emoji over the front of their faces? It would just seem bizarre, wouldn't it?
William terrified going down the thing, onto the rail with his life.
Yeah, and then you put a big splodge over his face.
I can see why William does that, with keeps it private, because he hated us when he was a kid. I remember once in Cloisters, and no more pictures, Arthur, no more pictures. He couldn't cope with it. He hated it, and Harry hated it. And I remember one of Harry's policemen once told me, on his way to nursery, he said, I hate tographers. And William was determined that wasn't going to be for his children. And the way he does it, I think Kate's pictures are brilliant of the children. I think she shares them with us, and there's no pressure on them. They go to school without any intrusions. I mean, every start of every term we'd be outside the school or the nursery, and they hated it. And when I look back on it, I can see why now. Now.
Just to clarify, he likes you now, though, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, we're good friends now. Yeah.